This is Sybert signing into Kane's Wrath on the map. Tournament Tower in the top left-hand corner as our green Traveler 59. This is InSovietRussia. What's his real name? I don't know. Who knows? No. In the bottom right-hand corner as the yellow GDI, it's MasterLeaf. MasterLeaf versus someone who's smurfing as InSovietRussia. Probably just be referring to them as Russia throughout the entirety of this game. GDI versus Traveler 59. I do believe we're kicking it back to 1.02 plus. So this is some version of it. Could be the old version, could be a newer version. I don't know, I didn't pay attention. But no more 1.03 for the current moment. Just gonna, well, actually, no, that's not quite right. I actually do have some 1.03 replays that I still was planning on getting to, since I have had a little bit of a delay. Was out of town working and, well, didn't plan enough, didn't pre-produce any content to release while I was gone for a couple weeks, so that was the delay in getting stuff out. And, you know, stuff just gets busy. You all know how that is. Things get busy, stuff happens. Anyways, Traveler 59 versus GDI. Nothing too funky so far going on from either player. Double refinery. Get a war factory in between them, of course. A couple of extra harvesters. All the normal stuff. Scouting riflemen, scouting buzzers. Tip spike grabbed by each player. Another thing that's sad about not releasing any videos recently is I missed all of that sweet, sweet election time money. For anyone who somehow missed it, in the U.S. there was an election, and, well, it seems like the election will never stop. But ad spending always goes up at election time, so, you know, if there's an election in the UK or in a particular country, ad spending in that country goes way up at election time. And then, of course, at Christmas as well, it also goes up, and then in January it falls. And I always miss elections, and it makes me so sad that I didn't get the opportunity to make money off of a particular time of year. I totally whiffed it, so unfortunately for me, which if you did notice that anyone was, like, releasing maybe more videos than average, ooh, this is kind of interesting. That could be the reason, or they could have just been doing something else. Rig Expand going to be coming up here for MasterLeaf. You know MasterLeaf loves him a rig. But a stasis chamber, a nerve center, an engineer, and a portal all back here. Look at this. We got ourselves some cultists out on the field for InSovietRussia. Someone going to be giving MasterLeaf a bit of a taste of his own medicine. Rifleman squad going for a bit of a scout. They do not see everything. They do indeed see that stasis chamber, but not quite too much else. And I assume fast legs are going to be on the way. Just purchasing it right there. And the rig is actually going super far. So this rig makes it all the way almost to the main base of Russia. So this could be a little bit problematic for Russia to deal with, assuming that MasterLeaf reinforces it, which at the current moment, MasterLeaf actually is not reinforcing it. A couple of Predator tanks on the way. Going to be double airfield as the follow-up. Tier 3 also being purchased by MasterLeaf. This game shaping up to be a weird one for sure, as neither one of these players expanding quickly, as you are apt to do on Tournament Tower. It's such a tight map. It's so small. Tier 3 also now going to be coming up for our Traveler player, and there's the Prodigy also on the front line. There's our Engineer now making its way along the right side of the base. And no, it's not. I thought it was going to be Hammerheads, but he goes directly into Firehawks. MasterLeaf going to be doing something sneaky with these Firehawks, and will he notice that Engineer? He was just looking in this area as he was most likely calling up that Firehawk. I guess he could have been doing it with hotkeys. But he walks right past the Tier 3, and the Watchtower spots it. So goodbye, Engineer. That entire journey, all of that traveling, all of that effort for absolutely nothing. Goodbye, Tier 3, as it actually does survive for a moment longer there. The Stasis Chamber also gets eliminated. And it looks like everything is getting called off of the front line. 3 cultist squads here in the north being spotted out by MasterLeaf with those Firehawks. And, well, I don't know where the Prodigy ended up, but it's somewhere out there. Of course, green on a mini-map with a lot of green is a little bit difficult. And MasterLeaf cuts down those cultists. So MasterLeaf at the current moment having no problems at all dealing with the Scrin mind control shenanigans. 1 tripod going to be coming in, I assume. Oh, the MCV must have gotten captured and sold off or something, as it doesn't look like MasterLeaf really has it around anymore. Tripod now going to be pushing on forward. Russia going to be looking for some kind of damage, and that was a lot of Firehawk bombs. Unfortunately, not able to actually really shut down those Corruptors with the Firehawks. Eventually, everything does go down. MasterLeaf going to be selling off that watchtower. And MasterLeaf, he does still have the war factor. He can, of course, rebuild that MCV, but it's going to be up to the double airfield. Could also sell off this watchtower down here just to get himself a little bit more electricity, a little bit more power online. Does actually sell off the tier 2 there as the command post gets sold off. 1.5/2, depending on how you want to call it. And Firehawk's going to be making another bombing run. This is going to be such an awkward game for MasterLeaf to play out. Going to be Disintegrators on the follow-up. Of course, losing that tier 3 means no more tripods directly onto the front line. A couple of Harvesters going to be stepping up here to do their part in fighting their opponents, and it looks like a couple of Riflemen also inside of these Hammerheads, as these Gunwalkers going to be trading out with them. There's the MCV now back on the front lines here for MasterLeaf, as he is going to be looking to set something else up with this game. Once again, the Harvester going to be absorbing a lot of damage here as InSovietRussia pushes forward. A lot of descents here, a lot of DPS very quickly could be unloaded onto these buildings, but no, for the current moment, MasterLeaf body blocking a little bit with that power plant, trying to get another watchtower up, trying to get something up to deal with all of these descents, but also the Gunwalkers are a serious threat over time. They don't do a lot of damage initially, but they do a lot of damage over time. Hammerhead's going to be hanging out on the outskirts, but this is not a game-ending force coming out here from Russia. Of course, on the back end, he should be expanding. He's actually not. He doesn't have any refineries here on the high ground. He's got 2 entire Tiberium fields completely to himself, pretty much uncontested, and he has not taken either one of them. I don't know how he's planning on bombing his way into the late game. I don't know how he's planning on funding his late-game army, as even a mid-game army is really what we're looking at, considering the units that he's actually producing, Descents and Gunwalkers. Harvester's going to be chasing down these Gunwalkers. They were walking backwards and firing at these Harvesters, doing hardly any damage at all, as it looks like another one of these Husks getting eliminated here. Watchtowers going down one after the other, some of them being sold off now by MasterLeaf as he's looking to kind of transition out of this. Firehawks, I guess, splitting their damage between the MCV and that drone ship, meaning that both of them have survived for the current moment. But yet again, another bombing run, 6 Firehawks. You normally need 8 to take out some of these big, heavy structures, but when they are this damaged, you can clean them up pretty nicely. Even going for the Tiberium spike wouldn't be that bad of an idea, considering that 10 credits every second does add up, especially over the course of this game, as it has relatively low eco, even though both players have an ample opportunity to get all of this Tiberium. They have been long-distance harvesting for the majority of their time here, and he does indeed spot the tier 2, goes down, and immediately taken out there by MasterLeaf. A great choice there to eliminate the power plant and the tier 2, gets both of them in one bombing run, and of course also finishes off that. Oh, MasterLeaf just lets his Firehawks get eliminated. 3 out of the 4 that were flying over those forces get cleaned up, sells off one of the airfields. A critical mistake made by MasterLeaf, cuts down the majority of his forces in terms of a game-ending army. All of these buildings could be cleaned up quite easily by those Firehawks, and how suddenly your opponent doesn't have any refineries, doesn't have anywhere for those Harvesters to refine that Tiberium, and that would change the face of this game. But MasterLeaf giving away those Firehawks, or rather in a mistake, letting them fly over a too dangerous of an area, and losing them. He will eventually, well, he may not actually ever get back up to the tier 3, just based on how weird this game is turning. Nothing queued up for MasterLeaf. He's not looking to add on a refinery at the current moment, and at this point, honestly, where does he go? Does he go for power plants? Does he go for tech? Does he try and go for a refinery, or even just go for production structures over here to try and shut down some of the immediate reinforcements coming onto the front line? The barracks are all pretty easy targets, but he shuts down the stasis, and he shuts down the power plant as well. Another engineer here in the north going to be looking for some kind of damage, some kind of an angle, and of course shutting down that stasis means no access to cultists. Forcing Russia to rebuild that is going to be a little bit of less cash that he can spend on the army, considering how long it takes him to refine and everything, and actually it holds up his build queue a little bit longer as well, having to rebuild that stasis chamber. 3 Firehawks refueled and ready to go, as the cultists now going to be on the front line. 2 of them do grab 2 of these Predator tanks, forcing them to be eliminated, and that is a fully heroic Predator tank under the control of Russia. It gets eliminated there as MasterLeaf's front line is having a difficult time standing up, but now that the cultists and the disintegrators are not on the front line anymore, it's just 3 or 4 gunwalkers, a couple of them very low on health, and MasterLeaf can stand up against the gunwalkers, but not when his own Predator tanks turn on him in this way. Even the watchtowers placed very far forward, going to be trying to go for a couple of kills on those cultists, and the anti-air going to be keeping back every hammerhead, keeping everything away from the front line, as cultists are being a little bit problematic here for MasterLeaf to deal with, considering the number of games that he has turned around with his very good cultist control. It is now indeed happening to him as he is transitioning into AP ammo, APCs, and no riflemen inside of them, but it's going to be watchtowers and those APCs to deal with the cultists. They have been cleaned up. There actually are 3 of them inside of that. They do grab 1 APC, and the other one does get cleaned up. The other cultist squad does get cleaned up before it's actually able to jump back in the building, and now the building under fire once again. Mines getting dropped down there by that renegade APC, the mind control of Russia, good enough to capture another Predator tank, as well as there is going to be the bombing run. Eliminates the nerve center, going to stop any reinforcing cultists. He's really desperately trying to shut down this GDI logistics center, and the drone ship going to be moving forward as well, sending him temporarily into a low power mode, but he's back online as MasterLeaf trying desperately to mount some kind of a defense, unable to successfully stop the forces of Russia, and really the forces of Russia are the forces of MasterLeaf. A great grab of that APC as it was trying to kill off that cultist squad by Russia. MasterLeaf going to be body blocking his MCV with this War Factory here on the front line as he drops an additional watchtower just to put out some additional damage, probably on the cultists and this logistics center. The gunwalkers all getting eliminated, and now it's going to be a fight of base defenses against base defenses, and in this case, GDI will win. They have the far better base defenses in this case. Lightning Spike and Photon Cannon going to be somewhat useful, but the ability for the watchtowers to shoot over buildings is more useful. Try as he might, MasterLeaf has been unable to clear out that GDI logistics center. Once again, Russia grabs the healthy Predator tank, eliminates the other Predator tank, and still has a little bit of a standing army through the courtesy of MasterLeaf. Keeps building units, absorbing a lot of damage, and that Photon Cannon also putting out some good damage on that Predator tank. MasterLeaf's front line crumbling, but he is not defeated just yet. He has so many watchtowers, and these buzzer hives just absolutely swarming this Predator tank. And unfortunately for MasterLeaf, even if he's able to kill off his own Predator tank, he still has not been able to eliminate that logistics center, so those cultists still have a place to retreat to. Descent's now going to be closing the distance. 2 of them attacking this War Factory as that watchtower goes to work defending it. And the watchtower taking bits of damage after bits of damage. And these watchtowers constantly reallocating their targets to these buzzer hives, or to the buzzer swarms being spawned in by the buzzer hives. Leaving the logistics center, the cultists come forward. They try and dive on a Predator tank. They do manage to grab one right here on the front lines. It's actually getting repaired by those repair drones as well, and the cultists pull all the way to the north side of this platform and unable to keep his own Predator tank alive, MasterLeaf loses a Predator tank while the repair drones continue to heal the Predator tank under the mind control of his opponent. A fresh barracks on the front line, and I don't actually know. He does still have the stasis chamber, but I don't think he has the nerve center anymore. It's just going to be descents onto the front line as MasterLeaf will not be able to turn that game around. A little bit unfortunate for him. A tough fought battle, and MasterLeaf unable to bring back his forces from that mind control. And that just turned into an absolute slugfest at the end there. But really, it was just MasterLeaf fighting his own forces, as I know some people will be glad to see him get a taste of his own medicine with that mind control. And InSovietRussia pulling out the strats for the win, but not the army production for the win. Your opponent's units are the best units. That will do it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If not, you probably smashed your head on the keyboard seeing all that mind control. And that will do it for this game, for this match. Thank you all very much for watching. And this is Sybert, signing out.